next round of Top Gun.
Hey guys, it's top 4, and
yes, top 4.
And today we feature a matchup versus 2 players that have both gotten a top 4 at a regional plus event.
Yeah, very, very strong contenders here in SoCal. We have our lovely Shawn and Allan, who said he was going to email me his B-Drill team and never did. So I thank you very much for that.
Shoutouts.
That's why I wanted him on stream, is just to say that.
But yeah, I mean, Allan's been having an excellent 2019 season. He got a top 4 in a Moon Series regional and followed that up with a top 8. And Shawn has got himself a top 4 finish in, I believe, the Singapore Open. It was an APAC regional level tournament in the 2018 season. So both these players have what it takes to have a team and pilot it to a good finish.
And so Allan here with the Nihiligo, Salamence, Umbreon, Tapu Lele, Groudon, and Necrozma.
While Shawn has Necrozma, Duskmane, Groudon, Salamence, Kangaskhan, Lele, and Nihiligo. So we see some a functional mirror in the sense that we see the Nihiligo, the Tapu Lele, and we see the Groudon. And then we see the common sort of slots being the Dawnwings and the Duskmane. They will have slight differences, but chances are they both play to that Psy spam game plan. And Kangaskhan and Umbreon are both good answers to Psychic Ghost type Pokemon. So they both fulfill similar roles. So we're going to be seeing a matchup between 2 teams that look slightly different, but overall look to accomplish the same thing. Unless the Duskmane is something crazy, I don't know. But the same can be said for Dawnwings.
Is it a Clefty Duskmane?
Well, that's what I mean.
Who knows?
If it is, then like, and I personally think that kind of playstyle is very cool. So I would like to see that too. But given the Lele pairing, I'm like leaning towards a more Psy spam approach going into game 1. But depending on what we see, that may change. So yeah, both players will have to watch out for like weird texts since they're both aware of like the standard structure of Psy spam and how they work. So I feel like this matchup's going to come down to how the Pokemon are trained, the stats and the moves they learn, and the not so fundamental slots will make a big difference.
So Shawn leading with a Kangaskhan and Lele, and Allan leading with a Lele and that Necrozma
That shiny.
as well.
I like that shiny color with the Lele. It's like a nice match.
It does. It's very color coordinated, which I can appreciate. So, of course, Psychic Terrain coming out, making the battlefield weird.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird, squiggly purple kind of field, and it boosts the damage of every Psychic type attack that is on the field. And turns out there's 3 Psychic types here. There's gonna be a lot of damage this turn. Going to maybe Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is slower than what could be the Ultra Necrozma, so if that is the thing to play around, then maybe the Kangaskhan slot is being very threatened.
Purple squiggly.
Yeah, we'll just have to see because like both of us know that one person at least is going to be doing big damage.
Yep.
So Kangaskhan switches out.
Yep, for that Necrozma as well, so it's a very strange mirror, but here we are.
Yeah, I like that. Being able to resist the psychic damage on the Kangaskhan slot with a steel psychic type. That's nice.
Shawn's Lele going for a Moonblast into the Necrozma, and Allan's Lele going for a Psyshock into the other Lele. But Necrozma coming out with a Moongeist Beam into that Lele, which is in fact enough to KO.
Wow.
Whew, that is very powerful celestial being.
I mean, yeah, like, it does a lot of ghost type damage, and Ghost and Dark, after the typing changes from Generation 6, have become very good offensively in terms of coverage, not being resisted by steals. So that's something that is really good in a format with popular Psychic and Ghost types like Lunala and Tapu Lele, as well as the Necrozma forms. And on the topic of Necrozma forms, I want to say, either of these could still be Ultra. With Allan, he didn't want to transform because the Dragon type makes it weak to Moonblast. And Shawn probably went for the Moonblast to limit the options that Allan has. Anyway, here is the Groudon. Ooh, Korean
Coming
Groudon.
out. I don't have a sun-themed pun for this.
It's okay. It gets a little too boring in SoCal. Too much sun.
It gets a little too dry.
I don't even.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, we're out. We're out of here.
We just got fired by Miguel.
Oh yeah, we're out now. Sorry. Guys. But anyway, here's the Necrozma and Groudon both on the field, and I think that's a very significant thing in a GS format because these are your limited resources that you have to optimize towards. So when you're in a position where you can do something proactive with both of them, I think that's a very favored position. So even with the early Pokemon loss, I wouldn't count out Shawn's chances in this game.
But a bright light emits from Necrozma
So
and
here it is.
turning it into that Ultra Necrozma.
So they're both Ultra.
Both going for the Ultra boost. Ooh!
Yeah, so this confirms that they're both Psy Spam teams that are trying to do very big damage boosted by the weird purple terrain. But yeah, Shawn having the Dusk main means that in this functional mirror, his Necrozma loses to Allan's Necrozma. So it's something that Shawn is respecting by playing very carefully.
But the P-Blades coming out from that...
Oh, wow!
Oh, wow! Knocking out that Necrozma and leaving that Tapu Lele with approximately, what did it say, 8 HP?
Yeah, it's like barely hanging on. Big damage from the Groudon. Ultra Necrozma is definitely a lot less bulky than the Prism armor forms, but you know, having a spread Precipice Blaze to that much, that's definitely a little bit scary.
But our little evolution Umbreon coming out to replace that Necrozma, as we saw, you know, Umbreon
Oh yeah, by the
second
Japanese national
at
champion.
Worlds, which was insane.
Oh yeah, very interesting team. The Umbreon was the centerpiece of it, much like Sejun Park's Pachirisu. And it's actually a really good Pokemon, just like Pachirisu. It's not seen often, so people think it's like a creative pick for people who are trying to stand out. But the combination of Helping Hand, Moonlight, Inner Focus, and the Dark typing lets you pair it with Groudon to beat opposing Psychic and Ghost types better than anything else. Maybe Mandibuzz, but Mandibuzz changes Inner Focus, the flinch immunity, for Overcoat, which is a powder immunity. And in the modern meta, with what's good right now, it's commonly agreed by a lot of players that Umbreon performs that role a little bit better. Especially with a Trick Room in mind.
But
so.
Lele going for that Psyshock onto that Groudon, taking a little less than 50% of damage.
Yeah, so from there, we can guess that Shawn has a very fast, not so bulky Groudon, because usually a Psyshock, a physical attack, will not do that much to a bulkier Groudon. And Umbreon dodges Precipice Blaze? Oh wow.
Count two.
Ouch.
And the Snarl taking down the special attack 1 stage for both Necrozma and Groudon.
So one thing to note is that right now, Allan, he might bring in Groudon, but even if he doesn't, the sun that's up will let him recover 75% with each Moonlight, instead of the usual 50% or 25% in rain, sun, or rain, hail, or sand. So, well, yeah, so the Groudon comes out here, and it's not really relevant, but even if he didn't have Groudon here, the Umbreon being able to kill that much while being able to Snarl and Foul Play and a Helping Hand, it's a lot of pressure to account for at once. So honestly, we'll just have to see what Shawn's Groudon is in terms of its spread, how it's trained, because depending on its bulk, I think what you do this turn as Allan kind of changes. Because if that Groudon is like a jolly, speedy Groudon, I feel like that would require a different 2-turn approach than like just foul playing with Umbreon.
And Allan, of course, color coordinating again.
Beautiful.
But Allan going for that Protect with the Groudon. But it looks like our lovely Necrozma is going for the Z move.
The light that burns the sky.
Light that burns the sky. I'm sorry, Miguel. Gonna have to edit this out. So you have like what, 45 seconds now?
Yeah, it's
until
like
the next move.
it's like an interactive movie. You know those
it
games?
It really is, yeah.
Like Heavy Rain, kind of The Last of Us, stuff like that. Like you're just gonna like it's a good game, and like you get to see some cool looking things. You get to see particles.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that R-Type Final game. I remember playing that a lot. It's like a shooter.
Ooh, yeah. See, first-person shooters are not.
Oh no. I mean like
only
it's like an arcade
shooter that I've like only
thing.
had any success in is Splatoon, and I don't know why. But Groudon can't fully protect itself, and it does get hurt.
So
Shawn's Groudon missing the P-Blades.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate.
Double
and
Precipice miss. Oh wow.
Going with a foul, and then Umbreon taking a foul play onto Necrozma for the knockout. That was rough for Shawn.
Yeah, Foul Play does a lot of work against opposing Groudons and Psychic Ghost Pokemon, as I said before. But I want to kind of talk about Foul Play in particular, because Foul Play is a move that calculates off of the opponent's attack. And that puts it at a higher premium in GS Cup because all the threats have higher stats, including higher attack. so it just does more damage. Very threatening. Yeah. That Groudon is going to take a big damage from it too. But maybe Kangaskhan with Precipice Blades, it can work something out. But with the 2 misses earlier, it's a little bit rough. I think this might be time for Shawn to start thinking about the next 2 games.
Yeah. So Kang coming out with that Mega Evolution into the Mega Kangaskhan, and the little baby jumping out to join Mom. Kangaskhan going for the bite into the Groudon, not taking a lot of damage. Parental Bond taking a little bit more. Oh, that is...
It dodges, yeah, the opposing Groudon dodged it, which is a big deal.
The opposing Groudon, yep.
That was a KO if it went through. So we can tell that this is either a speed tie. Oh, wow, triple miss. That is very unfortunate. We saw this in a specific top cut set at Madison Regionals, where 3 Precipice Blaze dodges in finals, I believe, is what led to one of the games being swung in Paul's favor. Yep. So it's part of GS Cup. Hate to see it, but it happens.
It does. It is part of the game that we play. Our lovely little RNG. Umbreon going into the Kang, meaning that the Kangaskhan only has about 25% left.
Yeah, so here I think I would default to just clicking Foul Play on the Groudon, because Kangaskhan, for it to do threatening damage to Umbreon, it cannot Low Kick. It has to use Double Edge. We don't even know if Low Kick is a move that Kangaskhan has right now, since we've only seen Bite. But he goes for the Double Edge, and it's gonna knock itself out with the recoil, and usually that Umbreon has Citrus Berry, so going, not proccing the Citrus Berry effect at 50% is actually potentially game-changing.
But Groudon going in for the Fire Punch, which of course does have the boost attack from the sun, but that berry coming in, and so Umbreon taking a little snack break. Umbreon going into Moonlight to
that should heal back
up.
25 from Citrus, 75 from Moonlight, that heals back to full.
That is completely rehealed. That is...
Oh man, so now the Foul Play... Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a Groudon, the only way out of this is to buy enough turns to set up a Swords Dance boost and be able to brute force it. But not enough turns have been bought, thanks to the fact that Allan's Umbreon has evasion EVs. It dodges everything, and it manages to save the day in what looked kind of tough early on, since, you know, it's just, you didn't use the Z move and your opponent did, so there's that assessment of value, and you think this could honestly not be in my favor. But Allan playing to his outs, the misses were definitely incorporated as part of his risk assessment during the turns. So now, maybe a critical hit might be able to give Shawn the win, and, you know, as Pokemon players, we take those, we roll for that outcome. But,
you can't guarantee it. You can't
exactly.
Guarantee it at all.
You just have to go for your best percentage.
I feel with this Umbreon standing next to Terry, because Terry is so much taller than I am. But that Foul Play going into the Groudon, taking the win by what? That is 20% 20% HP that our little Umbreon has left.
Yeah, it barely clings on and gets the finish for the win. I mean, it really paying dividends here. Allan did talk to me earlier, like round 3 or something. He was like, yo, Umbreon is so good. And he's showing why it's so good here. Just single-handedly applying so much pressure against 2 legendaries and other Pokemon.
You know, I think that is the thing that I do always enjoy about post-Worlds meta, is that, you know, we've all kind of, in a way, given up. We just want to have fun. We want to wait till our next format, so people start pulling out some of the Stranger Worlds meta, like the Umbreon, and we start to have a little fun with our team building, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
So we are almost 30 seconds in, and no one has locked a team yet. Both Allan and Shawn are probably sitting there thinking about their matchups, how they can do things better, how switching it up may be able to help them, how the other may switch things up.
I wanna be careful of like the Groudon. Like both players have reasons to be wary of the opposing Groudon, especially because they both seemed like speedy Pokemon based on how they both played their own. So it might come down to a matter of speed tying, which is a pure 50-50.
Now Allan locked about 15 seconds ago. Shawn is taking his sweet time, thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is good resource allocation because this is the only timed part of a VGC game that isn't something that you want to conserve. Like your round time is something that you consciously work towards, and the in-game time, that's something that you have to manage in terms of making good decisions versus not timing out. So I feel like it's good to maximize this free time that you're given at the start of a round. So for that, I think what Shawn's been doing is something that I think is really cool. Just timing out, just letting yourself time out with the selected ones.
And Shawn coming out with the Duskmane, Necrozma, and the Tapu Lele, and Allan coming out as well with our lovely color coordinated Necrozma and Tapu Lele.
They both have that very strong side spam focus on their team. So maybe they're thinking that, you know what, I can't really play with like a different mode. This is just the best mode. So I'm gonna go with this even though the game wasn't necessarily the cleanest. And I think that's reflected by both players having the same leads.
So now, while we let everyone choose their moves, you know, we've seen a little bit of a resurgence of side spam, most notably an Alakazam coming in sometimes to with our lovely side spam. So why do you think side spam is making this coming? Is it coming back? Is it?
It's always been there, but I definitely think that there are certain reasons to use it. One being that it's a very linear kind of team. It has a very clear, focused game plan, and that's often good because that's how you frame the team's synergy. And side spam just wants to do big boosted damage. And honestly, in this format where things hit so strong,
we have some Lele on Lele violence here.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
But the Duskmane Necrozma going for the Protect, and the Dawnwings Necrozma going into a Moongeist Beam into Shawn's Tapu Lele, again knocking it out completely.
Yeah, Allan's taking the same plan as he did game 1, just removing the Lele so he can transform and use that Ultra Necrozma to control the pace of the game. And like, yeah, that's why the most side spam teams you will see tend to be Dawnwings, given the coverage between Photon Geyser, Moongeist Beam, and Earth Power. Sometimes you replace moves or you have a utility move over a coverage move, but those are generally the threatening options that you play around versus an Ultra Necrozma.
Alright, and Groudon replacing Shawn's KO Tapu Lele. Desolate Lands coming in. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have a good sun pun for this.
So, given game 1, I think it's safe to assume that the opposing Groudon is not that bulky. So, maybe an Earth Power or a Psychic type Z move from the opposing Necrozma should be enough to clear the Groudon should it get hit. So it might be something that Shawn has to be wary of. If that Groudon is open to one hit from the Necrozma, it will be below 50% at least. So I don't know, very high impact turns. So there's a lot of pressure being applied to Shawn right now. I like the odds that Allan has mathematically. This goes into why I think side spam is strong, because mathematically the game of Pokemon favors the attacker. Because you have the chance of hacks, critical hits, secondary effects. These things make it so that even if there's a 50 to 50% kind of balance between attacking and defending, there will always be that extra percentage given to the attacker. So Allan can keep on attacking and hoping something happens, even if it's not perfect. And that safety blanket is so important.
But the Necrozma turns to the Ultra Necrozma. Lele going for the Moon Blast into the Kang, and the Photon Geyser, of course. Kangaskhan is immune to P-Blades coming out to that Tapu Lele, taking out, what was that, almost 70, I would say like 60%-ish from Necrozma?
Like, we knew that it was going to take a lot of damage from Precipice Blades given what happened last game, but I'm thinking that maybe Allan's decision this turn was too similar to the first turn, since Shawn was able to predict the Moongeist Beam and just switch in a normal type. Of course, this isn't something that's always a hard read, but I think given how the game went in game 1, this is like a calculated measure.
But Allan bringing in our favorite little evolution, Little Umbreon.
Yeah, again, it's in a position to do great work. I mean, Foul Play, Chip, and Double Edge should KO the Kangaskhan, and yeah, Groudon, it does hit Necrozma hard, but Necrozma can still hit Groudon hard and faster, because this is the turn to change form into Ultra Necrozma, which will be faster than anything on this field.
And both players are taking their time to pick their moves. Kangaskhan coming with a Mega Evolution, and the little baby jumping out.
Oh yeah, ready to
so
go.
Cute!
It's ready to fight.
But the Ultra Necrozma going for the Protect.
Ooh, so
and
Groudon goes for the Protect.
Groudon also goes for the Protect.
That's good for Allan. It seems like Allan wanted to play in this way regardless, whereas for Shawn, I think there may have been merit for him to attack with the Groudon instead. But now that's 100% in the range of Double Edge Chip. Any Double Edge damage will probably knock out the Kangaskhan, which means that after the Protect, Necrozma can go for the Z move on the Groudon, since even if it switches, well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the obvious #1 play, just because there's other things that Shawn can still do, but I don't know. Barring switching, which I don't like in this situation, I think it's a solid play.
But Kangaskhan switching out for that Ultra Necrozma again, or Necrozma. This one has an Ultra Burst, as we've seen.
Interesting.
But the Ultra Necrozma going in for the Z move, which again we will have to edit out. I see Miguel just sort of recede into himself a little bit as he has to think about editing and rendering.
The YouTube copyright strikes, man.
Man.
Yeah.
YouTube. Thanks.
Oh, where's the target? Let's go. Let's go on the target.
It's very beautiful.
It is.
You know, oh,
okay, so
but
it does
going
go
into that Groudon, yes.
Yeah, I think the Duskmane switch was probably better used than the Groudon, given the fact that I think Groudon was more threatening than Kangaskhan. So if I had to make a guess, I feel like the swap was better on the Groudon. But maybe he was reading bad. So so maybe this is him thinking ahead and thinking that won't win in the game.
Light that burns the sky, taking out that Groudon, which means our sunlight fades, which is exactly what we need here in SoCal. Umbreon going for the Snarl, which means our lovely Duskmane Necrozma is going to get that special attack drop.
Oh yeah, it's definitely meaningful since this isn't a physical set from what we see. What I would consider a pure Ultra Necrozma set, just a special attacker. And here's a super low Kangaskhan. I mean, Umbreon really putting in work here. By removing the Groudon, I think it enables Umbreon to do basically whatever it wants. And the only way around that is to use Swords Dance on the Groudon. But Allan playing his Psychic Spam in a way that stops those openings from happening. And that's another reason. You keep applying pressure, you give less room for your opponent to react. So those three reasons, the pressure applying part and how that can force like certain mental things, as well as the mathematical favoriteness of hacks. I think these things really make super synergistic, aggressive strategies like Psy Spam always viable. But it has to be played in a certain way by a player that identifies it and respects those win conditions. And I think we see Allan doing that with his Psy Spam team, being able to pin things down by just having too much damage. Don't want to switch, but you still can't prevent anything. Yep.
So both Necrozmas going for the Photon Geyser. Allan's Necrozma taking out that Kangaskhan, but staying in with 17% damage. That's me at Friday at 3 p.m. at work. Hanging on with 18% HP. Just kidding. I love my job. But
it's the Umbreon just, oh my god, like, I wonder what Allan's got to say about this. I feel like this might be his MVP.
It is like me, tiny but scary.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You definitely don't want to make Umbreon angry.
Yes, same with me.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But Shawn, unfortunately, playing a great game against Allan. Now, if Allan would come over here and maybe listen better than Anthony did, that'd be really lovely. He's not listening to me again.
But yeah, very interesting Psy Spam team from both players. There's definitely a slight edge given to the Dominance player, but I felt that both players had room to play their game, and honestly, what more can you ask for? I think playable is important. Hey, Allan.
Alright, so great game. Congratulations on making finals at this PC. You know, we've been here before. You were the bridesmaid last time.
Yes.
So here's the first question. You said you were going to send me a B-drill team, and you didn't.
They're not work.
So I was forced to get a team from Henry.
He's a good team builder.
I would never say that on camera.
One of my top two. I actually play him this week for Pinnacle, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Pinnacle.
I know.
Yeah.
Who do I want to bother more, you or him? I don't know. I'll figure that. All right. So seeing Shawn's team, what was your first thought?
I thought he had Dawnwings to Necrozma, but he doesn't. So I thought the matchup was a little more favorable for me because I could just stay in base form and then knock out his Tapu Lele. And then not worry about
playing around the
Necrozma being able to knock out my Necrozma, so it didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But, as long as I take out Tapu Lele, Umbreon can put in the rest of the work to take out the team.
Yeah.
And Umbreon did put in work. So, you know, we covered it a little bit in our commentary, but what do you like about Umbreon? I want to hear it from you.
Well, I mean, you saw what it did. It just took attacks and it just healed with Moonlight.
It does everything.
Yeah, it literally does everything. It's like solved a lot of matchups for me that were like pretty tricky otherwise, like Lunala, Rayquaza, Lunadon.
It's definitely like a best in slot Pokemon. Very specific slot, but like very good, right?
It's good at what it does.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much all I use it for. But
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Because you've been like very happy about it, right? Like earlier in Swiss, you were like, hey, they did so much work, and that's good. I mean, Pokemon, I think, is at its best when people come up with their own solutions to problems. So finding something that works for you in your own way, I think that's really good.
Shout out to Hirofumi. He discovered Umbreon, and it's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
We were all there at Worlds in DC watching that finals. I think that was one of the best finals I've ever watched. The whole crowd was so hyped. We were all having so much fun. I think we were all ready to maybe sleep a little bit, personally.
Sometimes.
So last PC, I asked Anthony the same question of how do you prepare, and you had a completely different answer than he did, which is you basically take the week off beforehand, you kind of relax, chill. Did you do that this time?
When I say I don't practice, it's I don't hop on Battle Spot and grind matches. That's not how I practice. My practice is how do I put it? It's knowing my matchups and know how I want to play those matchups instead of just grinding matches on Battle Spot.
Game
because
plan,
those are essentially best of 1 matches. So I don't get as much practice out of that as the ladder heroes. I just grind on the showdown on Battle Spot nonstop. So that's just not me. When I do want to play, I'll play and then just assess what I did wrong in there. But that's about it. I just want to go over specific archetypes and then have a game plan for those. Like Side Spam, it's my game plan is just take out the Tapu Lele and then let Umbreon put in the rest of the work.
Yeah.
Pretty much the game plan there. I mean.
Alright, so you're going to Portland as well, right? Yes! So, oh god, Portland's going to be so much fun with all of us. I'm so
much
excited.
team killing.
So, we are, again, 2 weeks out from Portland. What are you going to be doing in those next 2 weeks to prepare?
Absolutely nothing. I'm going to work, and that's about it.
It's Ultra Series, guys.
Just learn my matchups. There's 2 matchups that I don't want to play at Portland, so I'll
you
probably
don't have to say it, yeah.
Yeah, we won't ask you what those are.
Yeah,
so our other top 4 match, which is Anthony and Ben, are still playing. So again, let's have a little fun. I asked him this last time, favorite Halloween candy.
Favorite Halloween candy? I don't even know. I haven't gone trick-or-treating in a while.
Same.
The last time I went, they were like, oh, aren't you too old?
Do you think that you need to trick-or-treat to get candy? Or you can just go to Target.
No, that's...
It's about getting it for free.
Yeah, you get it for free. That's the point of trick-or-treating.
I understand that. I really understand that. Alright, okay, so then favorite spooky season movie? Anything? No? Come on, give me something here.
Do I have to say something?
No, you don't have to.
I'm not a movie person.
If you don't know anything, it's fine. If you don't watch movies because you're just too into Pokemon, that's cool. You know?
Yeah, that's all I do.
Yeah, man. Pokemon. All you do is ladder. You always have a 3DS in your pocket, all that stuff.
All right. So then, have you been following coverage of Sword and Shield? No?
Oh my god.
No?
I just know what's been revealed.
Okay, so if you're watching, I know a lot of people are staying away from spoilers, so I'm spoiler alerting it. Shut us off, come back for our next match. But what starter? Both of you, what starter?
I would say probably Sobble.
Sobble? Okay.
Sobble.
Which is funny because I'm the crier. But I'm not choosing Sobble. So what are you choosing?
Me? I don't really care about starters. So I feel like I'll just pick whatever I feel like.
You gotta pick one now. You gotta pick one right now.
Okay, when Sun and Moon happened, I picked Primarina because I thought Aura Veil was not a hail thing. I thought it was gonna be a Primarina special, and I'm like, wait, this might be really good. And then no, that's not how it works.
So I am personally going for Grookey. I actually just ordered the plushie. It's gonna be here on Halloween, which I'm so excited about. I just want to take Grookey, and I want to hold him like a baby, and I want to hold his little Grookey hands.
Oh yeah.
Because they are so cute. I'm so excited.
Grass type starters.
Sobble. Yes.
I'm generally a water type starter person.
Sobble.
Yeah, maybe.
Sobble game.
Oh wow.
Sobble game.
I mean, I got Grookey friends. I don't know any. What's the fire starter again?
Scorbunny?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, Miguel says he wants Scorbunny. Well,
Scorbunny's good. Yeah,
Okay.
Scorbunny deserves love too, guys.
All right, so then which version are you getting? Sword or Shield?
Probably Sword.
Sword. Yeah, I think I put Sword on Hold Up Game stuff. I don't remember.
I like Sword. Hydreigon.
Yeah.
I want Mandibuzz.
Oh,
So that's Shield.
That's Shield? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want
Love the
Shield.
little Mandibuzz.
Yeah, I want a
Sorry.
Pokemon that gave me money, so give me...
R.I.P.
That's the only metric of love, man. The amount of money it gives me.
I'm gonna call it right now. Mandibuzz is not gonna be good.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Actually,
Maybe.
wait, stop it.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not trying to spoil, but like, I don't know. There might be some cool stuff. Like, a lot of untapped potential in the regional Dex format. Much like how it was in 2017 and probably 14, but I didn't play back then, so...
Yeah, I started in 2017 with our regional format, so I'm so excited to see us sort of see all these new Pokemon and have these new things that we could use. So so besides the starters, out of everyone who has been revealed, again, favorite Mons, and we'll count in the Eevee and Pikachu Dynamax. Of course, we have our own Fat Pikachu here, being held by Allan.
I thought that was a dumb idea, but that's just me.
Wow.
No, it's okay. I can hold it. I just thought that was a dumb idea.
Oh, wow.
That's just me.
Alright, for sure.
I don't know. I like Galarian
Really
Ponyta
going
though.
for it right now.
Oh, he really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Galarian Ponyta.
I'm about to win. What are you talking about? Wait, as wrong as Anthony. No, I'm just kidding. Anthony's gonna beat me though.
Again?
Oh, the matchup.
Again? Oh, yeah.
It doesn't look nice, but I mean, I think you have better odds this time.
So to finish the question, again, Pokemon that we have seen revealed that aren't the starters. I'm excited for Alcremie. I want to do my Great British Bake Off theme team. I love cake. I mean, like Alcremie, obviously. I want to see what we do with our new what is it, Cotton Guard? The one that
I think, right?
Yeah, when it hits, it lowers the speed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that's gonna be the
like
moment that was revealed. I was like, this is specifically for VGC. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna see this a lot on BattleSpot in the next couple of months. This is great.
I'm personally a fan of the new item Eject Pack with like an Intimidate user that has a stat drop move. So maybe it can be Overheat Arcanine, Draco Meteor, Salamence, but the idea is that you can bring it in, hit it with a strong stab move, and like activate the stat drop item and then switch back, bring it in again. Or maybe they can like bring in their Intimidate and then you switch out and then you can do it again. And like, as we see from the Landorus mirror, generally the one that gets the extra switch wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that seems like something that I want to look into when the new game comes out. Yeah.
I'm also excited for the new curry making. I know that's gonna make me super hungry and probably buy a lot of curry while I'm home, which is very bad for my credit card. All right, so then let's go back a little bit. What is your favorite thing that has been cut out of past generations? So, like, for example, I miss contests. I miss contests so much. They were just this like really great, almost. This sounds very what's sort of like we're condescending when I say this, but they were just very mindless. Could have fun, just sort of play around a little bit.
I like
So
contests.
like what? Yeah, contests were fun.
Yeah, I think contests are cool.
I missed the Battle Frontier, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
That
another
was
very
so
good one.
fun. Playing it on Emerald, playing it on Heart Gold Soul Silver, that was
For me, I want to say those Infinite tracks in like Gen 6. I think that like Big City, what's the name? Modeled after Paris. They have this like big circular thing where for hatching eggs, you just like hold one direction and it just keeps on going.
Yep.
You just
And
do
like,
like a penny.
That was always fun.
and you had that in Battle Resort and Oras as well, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's like an equivalent in Gen 7. So like, I hope that like in
wait.
Gen 8 they can like,
There is, but you don't like hold it.
yeah,
just,
you
like,
still
go in
gotta
circles.
like manually like change it.
Yeah, you just
So
hold B and then you just go in circles.
I definitely don't like it when they introduce factors that make it easier for new players to play, and then they just like get rid of it because every region is different.
Yeah.
I don't really like that reasoning, so I would like to see them come back.
But at the same time, I do think it is something we have to keep in mind that, like, you know, I'm 26. We are all adults here. We're not Pokemon's main group anymore.
Right.
The game really isn't for us, even though, you know, I have played this game for 20 years. I think you guys have played for just as long. You know, unfortunately, they do have to change it for the new babies coming in.
Yeah.
Which we are
Make it
so
easier.
excited for. I really hope that Sword and Shield brings us more people who want to enjoy VGC and maybe make it a little easier on us.
Oh yeah, it'll be
Which
exciting.
I'm so excited for. So we are still going through our last match, but I think we
Long
have run
game.
out of things to talk. We need water. So congratulations, Allan, on
Thanks.
making finals
I'm about to win.
again. All
Let's
right,
go.
About to win.
don't jinx it.
Play to win, yeah. Let's get it.
And thank you so much for joining us for this round. Unfortunately, I have to log off. I have to go celebrate the spooky season with my friends. What are you guys doing to celebrate
I
this week?
may end up having to leave soon, but I'm trying to like still hang out or something. So maybe after the tournament, I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So we got a little note from our lovely Miguel. So of course Richmond comes up next weekend, Richmond, Virginia, our next regional, and then Portland after that, as we've said, which we are also excited for. And then our MSS here in Los Angeles is the weekend after Sword and Shield comes out, right? November 17th at our lovely esports arena. We've been there multiple times.
It's really nice.
Love
It's like so
they
good.
have food there. There's a Starbucks nearby, and we are hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't
down
even know
the
that.
street. You'll find there. I
didn't
always
even
eat
know
caffeine
that.
before matches, so don't worry. And what we're hoping to do after Sword and Shield comes out is have side matches in between rounds of Sword and Shield. You know, we have a month and a half to get ready to prepare our next stream for you, which is on the Switch now, so there's a lot of technical problems that can come up. Thank you, Miguel, for this lovely, lovely note. We are so excited for the rest of our Ultra season, the last month and a half with our DSs, which is
It'll be bittersweet.
it very well. But all right, unfortunately, we are done with our time right now, and we'll see you for finals.
Yeah, see you guys.